Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. Fanspeak. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Megan Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fanspeak. Fanspeak team, printing money since day one. Fanspeak, forever.
Welcome back to another Fanspeak Best Ball Steve-O Speak hour. This is, more usually I'm in an afternoon shift. Today it's a happy hour. We're going to drink, get a beer. We are ready to go. Rounding up, the last couple of weeks of drafts, getting the last exposure in. We're going to talk about some of my fades. Some we talked about all year, some maybe more prevalent now in recent weeks. So we will talk about that shortly. Talk any questions, do a couple drafts, and have some fun. So let's get into it. Let me hit up chat first. We got Meg checking in. Good to see you. We got Keith in here, athletic position. I'm ready. Travioli, yo, Mike Rob, Steve-O, happy hour. Absolutely. So yeah, we're doing good. I haven't, probably was just going to do puppies. Definitely have a lot of slows I need to do. And let me go to Underdog here. The puppy 4 is still out. They did launch, the Field General is out as well. They did launch this Frenchie 14. I was looking at that. I did want to go over that real quick. Not sure what people are doing. It is an interesting structure. I give it credit for that. 5 max, 20-second clock. So I'd have to do it fast. Also made the weirdest prize pool I've seen. 139,900. I don't know why it can't be 140. Your guess is as good as mine. It's rake free. That's why. That's right. So yeah, I guess the exact number is 1399. Just seems so odd to me. So it is 23% filled. The way it works is 412 advance, 1 of 4 in the quarterfinals. And the semifinals is only 1 of 11, so 53 seed finals. So it's a very small final, very reasonable finals. But the semifinals is actually the toughest one. So, you could make a case, the finals is essentially 1 of 53 to win top prize. 1 of 11 is closer than people think. It's $50K top prize. But you want to be in top 53. That's where the majority of the money is. $500. You don't get anything to just make playoffs. You need to get to quarters, is the way it works. You get your $20 back, and then it goes from $20 to $500. So it's a big jump. Making finals is very key. So I would say week 16 is, almost as much as week 17 in terms of what matters. Since the jump is $20 to $500. And of course, 500 would be 5 times more than if you max this. So that is an interesting way to do it. But yeah, you're going to have to get something to finals to pay off. So everything else is normal. This isn't, not marathon, not sprint, not rookie, sophomore, not super flex, not, weekly winners or limb. But definitely an interesting format. We're 412, make it to a round where you don't get any money, but then you have a 1 of 4 shot of getting your money back. So not the greatest, not the worst. I might do one. If people want to do it in chat, I will do one. So just wanted to shout that out first. Week 16 is all that matters. Yeah, I forgot it was no rake at first. Drinks I haven't begun to defile myself. Doc Holliday, what a great character, and real life person, but also a movie character from Tombstone. Zero RB is dead. I don't think it's great. I think we see enough teams with a focal running back even these running backs in quote unquote split backfields, the 60% side, 65% side, sometimes even the 55% side really can still pay off a top 50 ADP, top 6, I'll say top 60, top 5 rounds. So I vote BBM. I have to rip 4 to get that freebie. I'll hop in a Frenchie 14 with you. So maybe I will do a Frenchie 14. I am considering it. I don't know if I want to do a BBM. I'm only going to do a couple more, and I don't know if I want to do them all now. We'll see. So maybe I will do. Just wanted to go over some of my clear fades, and these are ones that I think people know that I'm on, but now that we are just a couple weeks away, I want to talk it through. So from a quarterback standpoint, I don't have any massive fades. I'd probably say the guy that I'm the lowest on relatively early is Patrick Mahomes. And it's not because I'm down on Mahomes. I just don't think he's going to run as much, which has given him such a good floor in years past. And even though I wouldn't be surprised if he throws the ball more, I think for me, it's a tough sell that I look at these next 5-6 quarterbacks and, couldn't he finish above a couple of them? Sure. But Purdy, Dart, Nix, Stafford, Goff, Murray, you can go down to Love and Mayfield. How many of those guys is Mahomes truly finishing above? I know historically he does. He obviously has great historical numbers. In points per game, he was tied for second last year at the time he got injured. The problem is that rushing floor, I do think, evaporates. So, last year that was 2 points per game. And the passing increase will make up for some of that, but I could see him losing about a point and a half per game. Definitely a point if you average over his last couple of years. And, that to me is significant enough that I think a couple of these guys behind him, it's not just that they're behind him, but it's you're getting them, some of them rounds later. Jared Goff, Stafford, Kyler, these are 20 plus picks later. And so it's just a tough sell that Mahomes is QB 11. I understand the historical side of it for him, but historically, Bo Nix, two years in the NFL, 2 years QB 7. Jared Goff, I think the last 3 years has been a top 10 quarterback, and these guys are going later. Baker Mayfield, I think his lowest number the last 3 years was quarterback 12, or 12 or 13, and he's going as quarterback 19. There's a lot of historical precedent for some of these other guys taking after him. So that's the one quarterback I would say I'm down on, even going forward. I have a decent chunks of every guy down the line till you get to Aaron Rodgers, and then I am lower on the last couple guys, just because their chance to me to outscore Rodgers, particularly from a season-long standpoint, I think is pretty low. And they do a bench risk, so if they're not there week 17, even if it's only a 10% bench risk, that's still something that the other guys that we're talking about just don't have. Running back wise, I'll give you a couple names here. One, of course, is on the board or on the thumbnail. That's Bashal Tutin. But before we get to Tutin, there are a couple guys that I'm just going to stay lower on, and that's Breece Hall and Bashal Tutin, and then Bucky Irving. Now, Bucky is the one that I'm maybe slightly regretting with the Sean Tucker news. I am, worried that if Sean Tucker is cut, then Bucky will get enough of a red zone role. I still think he could be number 2 on the team on his own team in red zone usage behind Kenny Gainwell. So I think that's part of it for me, but that's the one I'm willing to maybe capitulate a little bit on. The other two, though, Breece Hall and Bashal Tutin, I'm just going to stick to my guns here. Hall, yes, there have been positive reports that he's going to have a bell cow role, but we've heard this from Breece Hall in the past. It just hasn't materialized. It's also, he's never been a big touchdown guy. This is probably going to be one of the lowest scoring teams in the NFL. Not a big touchdown guy. And yes, he's going to have a good number of targets, but he's not going to, I don't think he's going to have the targets in the same level as comparing him to another good running back on a bad team, A-Chain. And I just don't see him having the same level of targets. Just bringing up his numbers. Yes, he had the 1 year of 76, but the others 57, 36. I think it's going to be more than 36, but let's say it's 60. A-Chain just is going to trump that. Like last year, a down year, 67, 78 the year before, 27 his rookie year, but he was really splitting the role. The bigger thing here is touchdowns. You just look at A-Chain, 12, 11 touchdowns. And this is, in some more part-time work. Breece Hall just doesn't have that kind of upside. He just never has. He's never been that big of a touchdown guy. 5 last year, 8 the year before, 9 the year before that, 5. And, he was injured that 2022. But 9 is this peak. And this was when he just had a 223 carries plus 76 targets, or 76 receptions, not targets, receptions. And I have a tough time believing he's going to get 300 touches this year. That's me. And, A-Chain is a guy I'm worried about given him being on a bad offense. But if I'm willing to make that bet, I don't want to make another similar bet, which I think is probably a worse bet, just a round later. I want most of my picks in the early rounds on good offenses, good situations, at least upside for major points. And even these other guys on more questionable offenses, like a Travis Etienne, Cam Scadaboo later, they're just better. And the bigger thing for Breece Hall is not comparing him so much to A-Chain, but I compare him to Quinshon Judkins, and I can get this guy 2 rounds later. They're both on terrible offenses, and I just think he's a much bigger bell cow running back. 230 carries, 26 catches as a rookie. That's with him missing the first game. He also, I think, missed the last game, if I'm not mistaken. And there is just a lot of buzz about him being more involved in the passing game. So that this number could be like 40, could be 50 catches. I think we're talking 250 plus carries, and he will have the red zone role. So that's what it boils down for me for the Breece Hall. He's just in a bad range. Like if he was drafted in the late 40s, 50s, sure, I'd be much more in on him. Even though I favor guys like Swift, Scadaboo, Montgomery, but at least I feel like I'm getting him at a relative price where he can return value. My problem is his ability to return ADP 30, I think is very, very tough given the running backs that go around him and just the players in general that go around him. So the other one is the guy I've been talking about all year, and that's Bashal Tutin. It's his ADP just hasn't gone down. I don't get it. We hear a lot of good buzz about Chris Rodriguez. I feel like the fantasy community has tried to neg Chris Rodriguez. And I just don't think Liam Cohen cares. And I feel like the touchdown role is going to be Chris Rodriguez. It's going to be a 3-man backfield because LaQuinn Allen will get enough of the passing work to kind of annoy the Tutin upside case. And you're just going to have a situation where I think probably all the running backs that I just was talking about, Montgomery, Swift, Scadaboo, are outscoring him and by a pretty fair margin. And then multiple running backs behind him, guys like Ramondre Stevenson, Rico Dowdle, Tony Pollard. These guys are very likely to outscore him. Even we love the offense, but we love some of those other offenses. Maybe not the Titans, but Steelers seem pretty good. Patriots seem pretty good. Why do we not want the guys who will probably get as much, if not more usage than them and have more of a touchdown role than them? Stevenson and Dowdle are going to be, have 10 plus touchdown upside. Does Tutin have that? I just have a tough time buying that. So those are the 3 like early running backs I'm down on. I mean, there's some others later that I'm just lower on here or there. But I'm just going to end up with less percentage on Jonathan Brooks, given his ADP rise, maybe one a little too higher than I like. The Denver situation, I'm not totally out on, but I have lower percentages on Dobbs and Harvey, just because I think it's a little bit too much of a mess. Receiver wise, this is going to be another situation. First guy I mentioned, it's not that I'm down on. I'm at about 4% on, maybe 5%. That's Puka Nacua. I just hate the price. I think the price is wrong. Nothing even to do with the fact that there's a real chance that he could be suspended for maybe 1-2 weeks, something like that. And nothing to say nothing in the fact that he's dealing with multiple injuries this offseason. The bigger issue for Puka Nacua for me is I think we're treating him as the clear wide receiver 2 with the second best odds, essentially. I mean, this is what his ADP is saying. Because there just hasn't, like, JSN has actually fallen a little bit more. Monrod, Lamb, Jefferson, these guys haven't moved up. What we're treating it is Puka has been very, very locked in to the number 4 spot. And I think the odds that he finishes as 1-2 is fairly low. It's not impossible, but I think it's pretty low. I've said it all year. At the time that Davante Adams got injured, Puka Nacua was wide receiver 5 or 6. And then, of course, he just had a great end of the season stretch. Davante Adams is back. I know people want to shut the door on Davante Adams. I wouldn't. We're getting great camp reports there. Matt Stafford seems to like him in his second year in the system. And he's just a touchdown machine. Puka's never been a big touchdown guy. He did do that better down the stretch. I mean, 3 touchdowns in the Rams game helps that. But the idea that he's going to stack 10 plus touchdowns versus Davante, I think is unlikely. I think he'd need multiple things to go his way. And that's what happened last year. Adams missed a significant chunk of time. The other thing is Matt Stafford led the league in touchdowns and led the league by a wide margin. What happens if Stafford's touchdowns come down to earth? Who gets squeezed the most from him? I think it's Puka Nacua. I don't think it's Davante Adams. I think the tight ends combined, will lose a touchdown or two, and then it's a matter of, the touchdowns that go to the tight ends, are they all Parkinson? Are they Ferguson Parkinson? That's another debate and something to figure out. But Davante Adams, I think, is the safest of the bunch. Like if you say Stafford loses 10 touchdowns, I think Adams might lose 1, because honestly, his touchdowns were actually artificially lower because he missed so much time. He would have, if he played the whole season, he would have had more touchdowns. I think we all know this. So his total touchdowns, if he's playing a full season this year, could be the exact same, or maybe down by 1. Puka, who did miss a game himself last year, could lose more touchdowns, even if he were to play a full year. I think that's more likely. Like, I think we could see his touchdowns go to like 5 or 6. I think people think that's crazy, but his first 2 years in the league, he has had a rushing touchdown in the last 2 years. That obviously helps and that counts, but he missed time in both these years. Let's keep that in mind a little bit. But he had 4 touchdowns just the year prior. Like that is not nothing. And 6 touchdowns the year before that. So him having 11 total touchdowns, to me, that's the outlier. And that's the thing, when we say Stafford's numbers go down, who gets impacted the most? Puka. And if Puka's at 6 touchdowns, he should be nowhere near this ADP, in my opinion. And then just adding in all the other factors. As we go down the list, there's nobody else early that I'm fading. I mean, I'm down on Rice for some of the same reasons. I think we're just basing it too much on unsustainable touchdown metrics. He only had a handful of games last year, had a massive red zone usage. But that just wasn't him like his rookie year. I just could see that changing, especially with Kenneth Walker, especially healthy Travis Kelce his rookie year. Travis Kelce was a little banged up. Xavier Worthy, if he can be healthy, etc. So, and there's some buzz there. Like Chiefs beat reporters are saying, like, I don't think Rashee Rice is going to get 1,000 yards. Well, if you don't think he's going to get 1,000 yards and he's not going to get suspended this time, then he shouldn't be going in this ADP. I still take him some. I was late to the game with him because I did think there was a real chance that he gets suspended again. Not happening. But so he's one I'm down on, but not a fade. Zay Flowers kind of the same thing. It's just, I get it. Like, this receiver range is not the greatest, especially with some of these guys getting injured later. But, Ladd, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, I think are all better plays than Zay, and Devonta Smith, I think definitely is as well. So it's just, I think he's in a bad range. I think Garrett Wilson is in a bad range. I've just kind of said this before, these 4th round receivers they should be 5th round receivers. Mbuka, Garrett Wilson, even Tedero McMillan, just on the offense that he's in. And honestly, even Jameson Williams. Like, I don't think Jameson Williams should go where he goes. I think Terry McLaurin, who's slightly above him, but Adams and Mike Evans and even DJ Moore, who, honestly could be at the top of this list, given that he's paired with Josh Allen and paired with Joe Brady. They should go higher than the number 2 receiver on Detroit, the number 1 receiver on one of the worst offenses in the league, the number 1 receiver on one of the slowest offenses in the league. Mbuka, who is dealing with a major injury. Like, I don't think these guys have fallen enough. So I think the ADPs are wrong. I'm going to be much more on those 5th round guys. And many times I take one in the 5th round, one in the 4th round, and one in the 5th round, just because I think that's where the value is. I'm late to the party on Parker Washington. I'm trying to catch up. I wouldn't call it a full fade there. And then 2 other guys I will mention just down the list a little bit. First is Mekhi Lemon. His ADP has fallen slightly, but I don't think it's fallen enough. He is going to be a slot receiver, and slot receivers, very few of them are big time touchdown scorers. I don't think that's in his profile. I don't think he's going to be a massive red zone weapon. And the Eagles are not necessarily going to be a huge 3 wide receiver team. They're probably going to be about average. But I think Lemon is going to struggle to have a role in 2 wide receiver sets, particularly early in the year. Maybe he is that down the stretch, but we're taking this guy 80th overall. And that's just not worth it, even if he is the fantasy playoff guy that you need. Like, he's a good fantasy playoff guy, because even if he's good in the fantasy playoffs, we're probably talking 18-point games, 20-point games. I don't think he's going to go out there and get a 35-point game, a 40-point game. So to say that these other guys in this range can't be producing similar numbers and give you better advance rates, I think is false equivalency. And some of these guys could just be way better. Like Cortland Sutton historically has been a top 20 receiver. Jayden Reed has a lot of spike week potential. Chris Godwin has a lot of potential here. So I just feel right now his ADP isn't reflective of what his role is, and it's all just based on hype, based on his draft capital. And, I think we should remember how we got burned with Matthew Golden a year ago. And I think it's kind of similar. The other one here is another rookie, but that's injury-wise, Jordan Tyson. I don't think he's fallen enough. They're saying up to 8 weeks, and that could extend longer. That's a significant portion of time. While we don't know the exact number, let's say it's about half the regular season. That is a big, big loss. Again, for a guy you're taking in the top 100 picks. So I think he needs to be going past the top 100. This is what I don't understand. I guess this is what I don't understand. Everyone's so worried. Alec Pierce's ADP has fallen 20 spots or more because of this injury, but he very well could play week 1. And while there's re-injury risk and all those things, Jordan Tyson, who is less proven, and I'm one of the biggest Tyson fans out there, less proven and capped as the number 2 receiver on his team, where Pierce can be the number 1, goes higher and doesn't seem to have the same sort of fall and concern. And yet we know Tyson is missing time, and re-injury risk and all those other things are of course baked in, or are also factored in. So I just feel like that, just comparing those 2 guys, we're doing it wrong. And when I see things like that, I have a tough time. I'm not taking a ton of Alec Pierce right now, but if I'm going to be wary about Alec Pierce, you better believe I'm going to be wary about Jordan Tyson. I made my stand clear on Stribling. He just goes too high. I had some early when he was going late, but right now he's just going in this range. I mean, he's going back to back with rookie Casey Concepcion, Deshaun Stribling. Concepcion is the clear number 1 starter, focal point of this offense. I would be shocked if he's not getting 120 plus targets, plus probably some carries and things of that nature. Stribling, good luck getting 70 targets. And yes, much better offense, but that doesn't matter. Maybe Stribling's just the guy you need down the stretch and that he can pay off that way. But I'm going to take the guy who just has a far, far higher upside week to week, year, throughout the course of the year. And yes, even in the playoffs. I mean, bad offenses can still produce in the playoffs. We saw Shedeur Sanders have a 30-point passing game late in the year last year. It could happen again. So those are the only ones I wanted to highlight. I mean, there's later ones that I'm bad range. He's between Brock Bowers and Colson Loveland. Both these guys, I think, are in better situations. And McBride is just squeezed a lot with far more competition than Bowers has and far worse of an offense than Loveland is part of. But the true guy that I'm kind of just fading, Kittle somewhat due to injury, but Harold Fannin, basically for the point I just made, Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston are now a factor. This team he had 7 receiving touchdowns last year. I think they only threw 16 passing touchdowns. He did have 1 rushing touchdown. I just don't see him getting 107 targets, 731 yards, 6 touchdowns in this offense with guys like Concepcion and Boston. Last year was able to do that because they did not have viable receivers. This year they do, and I think that he's going to take a hit. Now, could he still come relatively close to this number, like 90 targets, 60, 65 catches, 600 yards, 650 yards, 4 touchdowns? Sure. But I think even at these numbers, he's tough to pay off his ADP. And I just don't think he hits these numbers. So that's my fades list. I'll get back to chat and then we'll get into some drafts. So I just want to give some people some time and we will get into a draft or 2. Well, probably 2. We got Air Jeff saying, aloha, good to see you. Plus Goff is projected to have the most passing yards. Yeah, I mean, that is, for Amon-Ra, like Goff has this high projection and, across the board, like he goes so late himself. I actually think Laporta is a better value. I didn't mention him, but like Laporta versus Fannin is just night and day, like give me Laporta every time. I totally agree. Like Goff's projection versus say Mahomes, but even some other guys, I think Goff is one of the better values in that quarterback pocket for sure. Huckleberry saying I'm low on Tootin and Bucky. Yeah. We got Mike in here. Hey, Steve, I have loads of Bucky and Tucker. I guess I'm hoping for the release now. Yeah, I have a lot of Tucker. The release would help, and I think it would help Bucky. And like I said, that's the one that I'm going to, if Tucker is gone, I could see Bucky. I don't think when Bucky this started, he was going like 30-ish in big board and stuff like that. I think that was always too high. But 50, I think he can pay that off for sure now, if Tucker's released. I'm only 4% Scatterboo, don't tell Meg. Brees too cheap, book it. I just don't see where the upside case is. That it's one of the things I love. I love the play. See, this is where I disagree, Trevoroli, because let's look at it for a second. So let's go back to running back and let's look at Cam Scatterboo. So Cam Scatterboo had more touchdowns last year than Brees Hall. Cam Scatterboo played 8 games. One of those he had like 4 touches. And another one he left right around halftime when he got injured. He had 600 plus yards, 24 catches, 101 attempts. So average a little over 4 yards an attempt. Brees Hall had 5 touchdowns. Like I said, he had 243 carries, less than 1,100 yards, only 35 catches. Remember, Scatterboo had like 24 for 350 yards. I know people say these numbers, I don't think the carries are going up. Like max, he's 250, right? So it's going up by 7. Like Scatterboo's, it could be 250. if not more. The catches, what is this going up to? Like, I know everyone wants it to go up to 76. I don't think it is. Like, what? I'll give you 60, but Scadaboo could be right there with them. So I think the Giants offense is going to be better than the Jets offense. That's also what it boils down to. And the touchdown upside is just, to me, considerably higher for Scadaboo. So even if Breece Hall gets more catches than Scadaboo, gets more total yards than Scadaboo because probably more catches, I think the yardage will be close enough. I think the catches will be closer than people give him credit for. But Scadaboo has 10, 12, 15 touchdown upside. Breece Hall just doesn't have that. I know he had 9 this one year and 8 this year, but I think 10 is just such a stretch for Hall. I think that's like his ceiling. And even still, he's also a guy who, if you go back to this 2023, he had a couple explosive touchdowns, and I think in 2024 as well. And that's great, and people hype those, but they're also not sticky. Like they're things that we don't see year in, year out. Some guys, yes, like a Jahmyr Gibbs, but it just hasn't been that case for Breece Hall. Also, of his 5 touchdowns, and I think he threw for 1 as well, if I'm not mistaken, in that Bengals game. But yeah, like 2 or 3 of those touchdowns came in 1 game. So yeah, give me Scadaboo there for pretty easy. But they aren't saying Puka is going to score more touchdowns and he's still number 1 utilized wide receiver. Well, is he the most number 1 utilized receiver? Because Jamar Chase had more targets than he did. JSN had the higher target share than he did. Actually, multiple receivers had a higher target share than he did. Justin Jefferson, I think, had a comparable target share as he did a year ago, and he's no longer catching balls from JJ McCarthy. So my question is, like, I like Puka. But I think we overhype some of those things, and the touchdowns are what matter. And also, like, not only do I think Stafford will likely see some touchdown regression, he'll probably see some yardage regression. He led the league in passing yards last year. Let's say he's 5th this year, 6th this year. Again, Puka's going to take a bit of a hit. So this, I don't know. I agree with Huckleberry, because my contention is, I think from target share, I want to say JSN had 36% target share, Puka 28%. Let's say they both get 30. The difference is, last year, Seattle was one of the lower teams in terms of passing targets. I'm going to bring it up now, so I just have the exact numbers. They finished 29th in passing attempts. The Rams finished, I think, 3rd. They were up there, 5th in passing attempts. My contention would be, especially with the fact that the Seattle defense took a step back, the Rams defense took a big step up. And not that that's always like the deciding factor. There are times where we see great defenses and they still are, top 10 in passing offense. Broncos are an example of that a year ago. But the other factors are Seattle. Not only do I think they take a step up because I think the defense takes a step back, that they take a step up in passing attempts, but also their number 1 back, Kenneth Walker, left to Kansas City. Number 2 back, Zach Charbonnet, of course, injured, is going to miss a significant amount of time. Yes, they have Helani. They added Jadarian Price, but I don't think they run as much. I think it's very unlikely that they run as much. And they're also going to have a tougher schedule as well, coming off the Super Bowl win. So, to me, the issue is not efficiency for Seattle. The issue was, level of pass attempts. So, even if JSN goes down to 30% target share, his targets might be kind of flat. Might lose a couple, but not much. So, like, Seattle finished 29th in pass attempts, 8th in yards, because Darnold is a big play guy. People forget that, and 16th in touchdowns. You can only throw so many touchdowns if you're 29th and so the fact that they were like double the rate in touchdowns over attempts is obviously a good thing. Where Stafford no knock on him, but he finished, they were 5th in pass attempts, 1st in yards, 1st in touchdowns. Those, just naturally, if they're down to 10th or 12th in pass attempts, his yards and touchdowns are going down. And just probably from a regressional standpoint, it's going down regardless. Even if he had the same number of attempts, I doubt he's first and first again. Would just be my point on that. Quarterback, Joe Burrow. Running back, Warren, Darian Price, Gibbs, King Henry, Love. Wide receivers, what would you give for JSN? I appreciate the question. It's always tough, these questions, because needing to know the exact value of scoring system. Is this keeper? Of course it's keeper, but is this keeper or dynasty? I'm guessing dynasty. JSN would be your number one receiver on this team. There's no question. But do you give up, London and Concepcion? That would be a lot. It's tough for me to say. I think worth, I know people like to have clear metrics, but worth is also dependent on what you feel you need, and if the scoring system just benefits that. So, I'd say if you can get by on London and Concepcion, that'd be the way to go. Then you have T. Higgins, Luther Burden, and JSN. That'd be my fun wide receiver room. If you can get something else a little back on the side, I think that's fine as well. Got Emo checking in. Good to see you, Emo. Hope you're doing well. This will be a come for Jesus moment. Best ball rookie drafting. This draft class sucked according to every site. We were drafting them the same as a strong class. Yeah, well, it's weird. Some guys were drafting the same or better, and then some guys, like the Browns, were not drafting anywhere near. So, and that's my point. That's also my point for Carnell Tate, is he goes 2 rounds later than Tedero McMillan did a year ago. Both are with a bad offense and a bad young quarterback. So yeah, I don't get that. You said I unfroze. Okay, well, sorry about that, Bazinga. Let's do a Frenchie. Meg is up to her big sister bullying. Malachi Fields, number 2 receiver. It just doesn't matter on the Giants. Dart stinks. Yeah, I think it's also probably a rotational number 2, but that's one where we're not drafting him. I'm willing to bet on it because you're still getting him 17th, 18th round. Other guys, Stribling, who probably has no shot of being the number 2 receiver, barring multiple injuries, is going 118, 115, and Malachi Fields is going 190. It just doesn't make sense. And yes, we can say Dart sucks, whatever. All right, we are going to draft. We'll get in here. That was a lot of rambling, a lot of talking. Appreciate you for listening. Let's get into this Frenchie. So Frenchie 14, I'm going to count it down. I'm going to enter here, entering in 10 seconds, entering in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. All right, still some spots to go. Waiting on 4. Two more people. One more to go. So Puka, okay, I'm down to under 4%. I just wish you'd go later. Let's see, we got Huckleberry in here, and Air Jeff, and Super Beast, and Buddy Man. So yeah, nice friends and family draft. Good thing 4 of us can advance to the second round. We got the NFL in here, Roger Goodell. So good luck to everyone. How many BBMs are you planning on getting in this year? I'm going to be about 20 to 25. Not really trying to push on it. Do agree with this, these 412s, you can bet a little bit more on the injury side. So I do think that's right. We got Hartman checking in. What's up, Steve? Doing good, Hartman. There's another BBO. Yeah, somebody else mentioned that. I did see that. I need to accept it. I hate you can't do it from your computer. Not sure I'll actually do the 4 to get it done. I'll accept it nonetheless, just in case. So it's testing me. Do I go Puka? I'm also low on JSN. I think I'm just going to make my bet on JSN here. I just talked about it. I know people think he's in for a massive regression. I actually don't think he is. I really don't think it's as much as people think it is. He had a great target share the year before, and sure, there were a few injuries that led into that, but that's why they moved on from DK and Lockett. They believe in him. He's their guy. And I do think they're going to throw the ball considerably more. I've been cranking Fields since pre-draft. Not sure how the steam on him hasn't moved him off the board more. Yeah, it's a weird one. And it's also like, I wasn't the biggest Jacoby Lane fan, but he looks to be in a pretty good spot. Even as the number 3, even if he ends up as the number 3, Bateman doesn't get suspended or injured or suck. If Lane is the number 3, we're willing to make that bet, but not the Malachi Fields bet. And I actually think Lane is still a fair price. The Stribling one is the one that just is way off. When he's above the Browns guys, it just doesn't make much sense. Like I love the offense. I just think the path to targets is a lot tougher than people think. End of the day, that's what matters. I guess the other issue I have is why we treat some bad offenses like the Browns, like we can't draft a receiver there, but another bad offense like the Jets, and we draft 2 guys in top 40. I don't know. Like I don't really get it. All right, so coming up here, took JSN. So I was hoping for Genty, but I will take Brock Bowers here. But the Genty fall would be nice to the point that was made in chat. Like the 4 of 12. Even if Genty is coming off slow, I think it's fine. And yes, hopefully 4 of us advance. Appreciate that, Air Jeff. Good to see you, nice and blunt. Just absolutely. For those who didn't go watch Best Ball Jeopardy this week. Nice and blunt, just with a showing, and it'll be him and Herzig next Monday night for Best Ball Jeopardy finals. So definitely on 412, I think I'm only doing 2 tight ends. I will probably want a better second tight end, because that week 16, if I can get there, being the 1 of 11, like getting a big tight end spike week. And I actually think premium tight end's a little better in this contest than maybe a few others, just because that 1 of 11 is pretty needed. So Rice, Smith. I'm just going to go Kyron. Again, this is the issue between Kyron and Breece Hall. Just show me the touchdowns. 13, 16, 15, easy difference between the two. And they go next to each other in ADP. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if Herzig's done any scouting, but for as good as Herzig's done, he's going to have his hands full next Monday. Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even focus on the Week 16 schedule, but that is a great point. The Raiders have, they have just a tremendous playoff schedule. So that's the other reason I like Bowers. But yeah, I just like Bowers from that, as we see that the tight end spike week can be a big factor in the playoffs. And that's the other knock on, I didn't really mention it, McBride. Well, it could be a rookie quarterback, and I know Mendoza had a rough preseason. I'm not going to get overworked up about it. I think I just like I like the schedule better for the Raiders, and I like the quarterback play better. Cousins or Mendoza versus Brissett, Gardner Minshew, or Carson Beck just doesn't excite me. Gino has proven he can sustain 2 wide receivers. Watson's trash, and no one but me trusts Shador. I do think it will be Shador for most of the year. And like, I get it. Like, is probably better than what the Browns will trot out there. But at the same token, I think Monken's a better offense coordinator than Frank Wright. So it's like, there's both sides to that coin. And I'm not saying Garrett Wilson and Casey Concepcion should go back-to-back in ADP. Obviously, Garrett Wilson is a proven receiver. But one we were taking very confidently, and the other we have zero confidence on. I got to do it for the brand, right? It's Cam Scatabo. I would have taken Swift, but that was a good pick by Super Beast. So we'll take Scatabo. Pretty good playoff schedule. Cleveland doesn't scare me anymore. No Myles Garrett and no Jim Schwartz. Detroit and Dallas, I think, are really good for him as well. All right. Damn you, Super Beast. Yeah, no, he's having a good draft so far. Jefferson, Hampton, Devonta Smith, DeAndre Swift. That's a pretty nice draft. All right, Dunze McLaurin go. Could get Monty back. Be a fun third back. I don't think I'll be taking Tootin. Don't want to leave no mysteries. But Adams, Evans, DJ Moore. This is tough. This is a group of guys I really like. Quite a bit. But let's go Monty. My guess is we go 8 receivers with only 2 tight ends. Go Monty. It is the same bias Scattaboo, but I think that's a very strong running back room to start. And buys mean a little less with the 4 of 12. I don't think you can have 9 players with, a singular bye week, but, being a little more exposed isn't as big of an issue. Cat is killing me. I wanted JMO. Etienne and Swift are close in my opinion. I like Swift for the better offense. Yeah. No, I think Swift early in the season gets a bump with Monangai dealing with an injury. It's a great offense. There's been a lot of good coach speak buzz about Swift this year. So yeah, I have a pretty solid percentage of Swift. All right, buddy man. Evans, Caleb, he had Loveland. So 2 quarterbacks early would definitely help you advance in the 4-12. course, two high upside quarterbacks for the playoff weeks. So coming up here, Air Jeff, I was kind of hoping May would come back to me. That is a good pick right there. Do I go quarterback? I think I do. And as much as I worry about the offense, I am going to go Jaden Daniels. It doesn't need to be stacked. There are backstack options, of course. But he just offers an upside, and I think the playoff schedule is pretty fun. Week 16 against Minnesota is the toughest of the three. I think Atlanta is going to be pretty easy. I think Jacksonville's defense isn't great. So maybe my other two quarterbacks, I target the week 16 a little bit better. But Hurts, I didn't like week 16 with Houston. Hurts, in this contest, Hurts might take a big hit. I think Philly you could make an argument. They take the biggest hit because that week 16 is brutal. I don't mind 17. I really don't. San Francisco, I think, is average defensively at best. It might even be bad. Seattle, I think, takes a step back, so I don't mind that as much. But boy, that week 16 is rough. I'm pulling up Chris Godwin. I don't really want Jonathan Brooks here. Tony Pollard, I considered with the Vegas week 16, but I'm strong at running back. Give me Chris Godwin. I just want more confidence from my number 2 receiver. Don't like Lemon. Jaden Reed, absolutely considered. But Godwin, I feel better about, and I love his week 16 matchup. Facing Atlanta feels pretty good. Rams doesn't feel great, but week 17, if I get to the finals, I'll take the 500. No, I mean, I definitely do that sometimes. And for something like this, like some people would say with 4-man, it doesn't matter as much, but I think you're still dominating. When you can dominate the quarterback position, you do, I think, increase your advance rate. And then having two guys that have like that 25, 30, 35 point upside in the playoffs, any week they do, you have a real chance to advance, especially that 1 of 11. So yeah. Chargers versus Miami feels good. I do some manage. I don't do any FFPC. Maybe next year I start getting into that. I'm in a couple managed leagues with friends. I'm in this, Iron Throne League. It's a lot of content creators. Emo, who jumped in earlier, is in that. Hartman's in that. Huhames. And Timo and all the Toxic Tower guys, but like Neil, Orfield, other people you'd recognize who are a little less best ball, but more in the industry. Nice and Blunt's in there, who's also in this chat. We did the draft, that was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday night. That was a lot of fun. So haven't really done too many of those, like with a lot of content creators. I did one last year. But yeah, so doing that, but I'm just not as big of a fan as managed because yes, you need to draft differently. You want to draft guys who are just plug and play every single week. Hold on 1 second. So I think Diggs is my call here. Like Mason, don't need quorum on this team. But my team that I've done with friends for years. It's a dynasty team. It's a good team. And, I'm in the playoffs just about every year, a lot of times in the semifinals. Had a finals appearance a couple years ago. But I have 3 quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, Drake May, and Baker Mayfield. And damn, there are those years where I've never picked the absolute best one in a given week. Last year was, obviously Burrow missed a significant portion of time. So it was mainly choosing between May and Baker. And even then I'd miss who the right quarterback was many a week. And the year before that, of course, May was a rookie and not as significant, but the weeks that Burrow went off, I'd play Mayfield. And the weeks that Mayfield went off, I'd play Burrow. So it just frustrates me. Should be rewarded for good drafting and good trades. All right. So I wasn't going to do this early, but I do think there's some value here. And as I mentioned, I'm only doing 2 tight ends, Brock Bowers and Sam Laporta. I get a fall on Sam Laporta, a 10-pick fall on Sam Laporta. For me to have 2 of the top tight ends, 2 guys with spike week upside, another good offense, as was mentioned before. Lions, they have a playoff schedule. Minnesota, a little tough, but Giants and Chicago feel really good. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. Oh, nice. My first FFPC this year with the wife. She wanted to get involved. Industry plans. Kelly checking in. It'd be great. You'd be great with managed leagues, and you should do one that is not tight end premium. I think I'd do more managed leagues that are tight end premium and or super flex. I just haven't gotten people to do super flex league. I enjoy that a lot. And I've talked, we have a cousin, Brad, who's, in the times of the past has, done a little work for us in the past, but hasn't in the last couple of years. But he does do fantasy a lot, does do best ball. He actually loves the managed stuff. So we didn't get it off the ground this year, but I think next year, if we do more like FFPC and manage, like partner with him so he can do more of the week to week, and we'd talk about it, I'm sure. But so he's the one checking, Sunday morning for the last bit of injury news and stuff like that. So I think next year that would be the hopeful plan, and you talk with him early and get it figured out. But that would be the plan and the goal. And I wouldn't mind doing it and streaming some things and sharing that. Just speaking on Fanspeak, I do love Dynasty. So I'm going to start doing Dynasty rankings and stuff starting for next year. So I want to make that to be a bigger thing, and we'll do videos on that as well. And of course, articles on our Substack. Goff feels like the pick. Oh, especially, it was Concepcion and Goff, or Concepcion goes. We will take Goff, get my second quarterback. Talked about him earlier. This guy's projection is as good as it gets, like his playoff schedule. Talked about before with Monty being gone. That's a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, particularly in the red zone usage that is off the team. Some of that will go to whatever backup running back or running backs there are. A little bit of that gets filtered to Gibbs, but honestly, I think, if there's a quarterback to throw like 45 touchdowns this year, it could be Jared Goff, because he just lost. He's been throwing mid 30s, the last few years, and now their end zone hammer is no longer on the team. So yeah, I could see that for sure. All right, so Laporta, Goff, felt like I got good value there also. Do need catch up at receiver, but like I said, probably going 8 there. My guy Travis Kelce's still sitting there, but I cannot take him. Already going 2. Baker. You know what? I might bully quarterback a little bit more. As much as I could wait for Rodgers or something, let's get 3 quarterbacks. I do like Darnold, and that would have been an option. But Baker, I feel like that's a fall. Talked about it at the start. I mean, this guy's finished his quarterback 12, I think, the last 3 years. I'm going to say it was like 5, or no, it was 10, 5, or 10, 6, and 12, I think, were his quarterback finishes the last 3 years. It goes way later than that. It's stacked up. Now I have all 3 of my guys stacked. And I feel like there's a lot of quarterback points here. So not just to help me get to the top 4, which is obviously necessary, but any playoff week, one of these guys can go for 25, 30, 35 points. So that feels good as well. And I will need to catch up at receiver. I'm going to be behind there. A little behind at running back, maybe. This is where the 4-12 helps a lot, because I'd be very worried to not have a 4th back and 2 of my top running backs have the same bye at this point, because running back is starting to get thin. Like, I would have taken Rashard White there if Baker wasn't there. So really good pick by Super Beast. But here, if my week 8, I have a running back get 5 points, I don't think it's going to bury me, because I'm not worried about having to only finish in the top 2. I can finish in the top 4. Got Paulino checking in. Finally draft 1 quarterback and manage my psychology. Can't handle selecting the wrong one every week. Yeah, I mean, that's in the little spoiler in the I actually did draft a second one, because it's a 14 team league in the one that I talked about, the Iron Throne. So I wanted to bully it a little bit. I took Josh Allen, and then late, like in the last round, I took Baker Mayfield. And my thought was, okay, well, 1, Allen has an earlier bye, so I need to cover that. And I don't want to be streaming, whichever bad quarterback is on the waiver wire. We're going to go Aaron Jones a lot due to the schedule. That feels like a really good playoff schedule. So we'll throw that in there for the 4th running back. Woody Marks, I like a lot, but obviously I have Dave Montgomery, and I already have 2 week 8s, so not really doing that. Don't need a quarterback. Don't need a tight end. So we're just down to 2 positions here. So I did take Baker Mayfield a bit to bully the room, so other teams have to scramble for quarterbacks, especially early for some of their own early buys. There's a lot of great quarterbacks on week 7, so the teams that have like Daniels and Herbert and stuff like that, like I think they're taking a hit because there's just not going to be quarterbacks for them. I don't think I'm keeping Baker all year in that league, but I also wanted to go early with Allen because, the deeper the league, of course, quarterback points matter more. Allen can be a separator. Only a couple other guys can truly compete with him. And, I feel like that's, just a nice solid pick. We'll take Keenan Allen here. I know McMillan stacks. I already have a stack. Keenan Allen just has the ability to me, outplay his ADP by a solid margin. And, even if it is more early on, though, I think that gets a little overblown, that it's only going to be early on for him. But definitely early on with the injuries that the team has. So yeah, my philosophy there was I wanted an elite quarterback early. I took Allen, and then I decided to take Baker late. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to even mess with it. Even though week 1, Allen plays Houston, I believe. Oh, maybe I will talk myself into playing Baker week 1 because their matchup is better. But yeah, so that in managed, I like taking an elite quarterback and just forgetting about it, right? Like you said, I'm not one to stream quarterbacks every week because I think you just start to talk yourself into questionable calls. It's like, oh, Geno Smith plays this bad defense. Every now and then that'll work out, but a lot of times Geno Smith will still be Geno Smith, is the way I look at it. right, Buddy Man here at the turn, Pat Bryant, Charbonnet, and to the point, like, this is a much better format for Charbonnet with 4 of 12. He could be the guy you need in the postseason. That's his 4th running back. I still would want some insurance, of course, but what others said earlier, this is a format where you can get a little bit more risky with some guys. So I think that's a fair approach, even though I have my questions about Charbonnet. I don't know if Tyron Tracy makes sense here, because I think that's a very thin bet right now. So don't need Chig. I will double tap here, take McMillan. Like, I don't know why he goes this late, particularly with some of the Mbuka injury stuff. And, I'm going to take more receivers. So yeah, let me double tap that. So I do want one more running back. Juwan Jennings, I think, is interesting with his playoff schedule. I think Ryan Flournoy is interesting. Rams not great, but Jacksonville Giants feel really strong. Tough. 2 number 3 receivers. I'm going to get one of them. Let me do Juwan Jennings. I think especially just looking at playoff schedule is kind of the deciding factor here. I don't know if you guys realize just how bad the Washington secondary is. So he could be the guy who advances his team in that 1 of 11. And to the point, like, people made about him losing work to Ty Felton week 1 of the preseason, that was just BS. And it kind of confirmed Felton played more because they wanted to give him more reps. And, Jefferson played very little. So they wanted to give Felton some of those reps because they view Felton as their number 4 and they want him to be able to back up all, the various positions. So I think Jennings is falling very unnecessarily. Sir, we have a cousin. The reach on Sterling, I missed it. Where did Sterling go? This is, again, risk is better here. Honestly, he goes way higher than that. So 107, I give some restraint there. But the thing is, you don't want to reach on all these guys. You still need enough points in weeks 1 through 14 to be in the top 4. So a lot of riskier picks, I'd say. But I like some of these guys, like Chris Bell, Cyrus Allen, are fun. But just make sure you're getting enough points to get there. Cooper probably goes way too late at this point. Boy, I already have 2 week 8s. Do I take Kamara knowing he'll miss time? But he's got one hell of a playoff schedule. Tampa, okay, but Arizona and Atlanta feels really, really good. we'll go Kamara. It's 3 week 8 buys. That's risky. And I'm now debating, do I do the extra pick at running back? And I might. I need one more receiver, but I feel like I've caught up at receiver some. Only 3 in the top 100. But Keenan Allen, Jalen McMillan, and Juwan Jennings, I think I got a really good value on all of them. So feeling okay about my receiver room. So still might go running back. Receiver, I've caught up some on. So yeah, I don't love this range of receivers, so I might as well just go with a running back. I think Braylon Allen is okay. Playoff schedule, not the greatest. But, it's kind of between him or Vidal. Better playoff schedule. But I think more locked into a number 3 role versus Braylon Allen as a number 2 potential touchdown guy. Of course, don't mind Katron Allen and a few other players, but so we ended up going 6 running backs here. I will add 1 receiver to round it out, but taking Kamara, it being a guy who's missing time early, and then 3 week 8 buys, I wanted to have a little extra insurance there for both those reasons. But I think it's the right call, because come playoff time, that running back room can be very, very strong. Jones and Kamara with some real touchdown upside, and Braylon Allen potentially as well. So if any one of those gets 2 touchdowns and hits my flex, would be kind of how I look at it. And the question here is, what kind of receiver am I looking for? A floor play, looking for a ceiling play? A couple different options out there. We'll see what gets back to me. I don't hate Ridley. Tesla's goes, no, that was Judy who went. Cooper Kupp, Coleman, Tyquan Thornton. And Jahan Dotson. So Tesla is a stack. I have the most. Ridley, maybe some weaker defense there. I think I go Dotson. Washington, Tampa, even Saints secondary, I think are all very beatable. So I add 1 more wide receiver there. So let me review my team. We'll review the Fanspeak members, and then I'll get into a puppy. Want to jump in, get going on that. So quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield. Talked about that a lot. I really like that quarterback room, even for the investment. I feel it can dominate quarterback points, which is nice. Kyron, Scadaboo, Dave Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Kamara, Braylon Allen. Talked it through a lot there at the end, the reasons why I did that. For the most part, it's these top 3 guys, but I think I got really good value on Jones. I think I got some value on Alvin Kamara, because I think his ADP and Braylon Allen, I don't get why Braylon Allen's ADP hasn't gone up. I've talked about this before. So many RB2s who are being drafted with a lot of certainty, and Braylon Allen, I think, should be in that mix, and honestly probably has a little bit more upside than people are willing to give credit for, just from a touchdown standpoint. And he's part of the reason why I worry about Breece Hall cracking 10 touchdowns. We'll see. I could be wrong on that. But I've, made a little bit of a bet on Braylon Allen at his ADP. ASN, Chris Godwin, Steph Diggs, Keenan Allen, Jalen McMillan, Juwan Jennings, and Jahan Dotson. So I definitely went with some safety here at the end with like Jennings and Dotson. And that's fine. Is this the highest upside receiver room? No. I think it's a lot of guys who can get me 10, 15 points week in, week out. So for me, that's how I stay in the top 4. Playoff time, I'm probably going to need, particularly that week 16, 1 or 2 extra spikes. Hopefully I get that. I was looking at some key matchups, and hopefully that pays off. Brock Bowers and Sam Laporta, 2 tight ends. I think that's all I need there, of course, and 2 really, really good ones. I think, I think that can hit my flex plenty as well. So I don't think it's a total waste of taking Laporta at 101. I think it just raises my tight end ceiling point. So the weeks where, Bowers has a fine week, a 10, 12 point week, but it's still not good enough for my flex because my running backs, Montgomery has a 17 point week, but Laporta has a 15 point week. Then that's just raising my tight end score. So I think that can still pay off and be worth it. And it was because I got Laporta at value and then was able to stack him with Goff. So that felt good. Let me just do the board real quick for Mike. All right. We got Huckleberry in here. 3573, Herbert, Shuck, Mendoza tacked on at the end, and he is falling out as he should. Brian Robinson, Jeremiah Love, Quinshon Judkins, very strong running back room out of the gate. Keaton Mitchell, and I said Brian Robinson earlier, Bijan, and he got Brian Robinson. So, and I like that. I like getting the handcuff. If anything happens to Bijan, Brian Robinson should be a really good pick. Olave Burden, as he mentioned, got the QJ matchup there with Herbie against the Dolphins. Alec Pierce, Jacoby Lane, Jalen Naylor, Zachariah Branch. I'm a little out on Branch, but maybe at the end of the year, like I said, the Falcons have a really good playoff schedule. So maybe at the end of the year, he has overtaken Zacchaeus and is a solid pick. It's not too high of investment. So if it's a miss, it's not killing you. And then Kyle Pitts, Chig, and Eli Raridan. That one, I just can't get behind Raridan. I don't think there's a real fantasy viable role. Like, do I think he's the number 2 tight end on the team? Sure, but I think that's capped to 300-ish yards, a couple touchdowns, but nothing too crazy. Air Jeff 2682, Lamar May, 2 quarterbacks, but quarterbacks, potentially 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks. JT, Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, Corey Krosky Merritt, Mike Washington, James Conner, A.J. Brown, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Romeo Doubs, Trey Harris, Malachi Fields, Jeremy Bernard, Rashard Bateman, Mark Andrews, and Hunter Henry. I like the 2 tight ends, not a ton of investment, feels really good. I know I always did the opposite, but I think going 2 there is fine. 2 elite quarterbacks. So you threw some extra volume at these other positions. You still got I think a pretty strong running back room, headlined by JT and Travis Etienne. And I think you got a strong receiver room, headlined by AJ Brown and Zay Flowers. So you take this gap here, but Josh Downs, Romeo Doubs, Trey Harris, Malachi Fields, Jaron Bernard, Rashard Bateman, just needing to throw volume at it. You should get the flex sometimes out of the tight end, but a lot of times out of that running back room. So I think that is fine. Like you said, you're just going to try and dominate quarterback points. Super Beast 3573, Kyler, Love, Geno. So 3 starters, especially Geno with the helping cover Kyler for sure, even if he is bench late. Marion Hampton, DeAndre Swift, Travion Henderson, Rashard White, Tank Bigsby, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, Christian Watson, Jordan Addison. So double tapping Minnesota there. And Mitchell, Demario Douglas did get some buzz. He's going to be the number 3 today. I kind of felt that way with some of the talk. Troy Franklin. I think the early core 4 receivers there feel really strong, and some upside swings with Mitchell and Franklin. Douglas kind of like the safety pick there in between. Kraft, Juwan Johnson, TJ Hawkinson, 1-3 tight ends. Kraft is probably going to start, but probably good to go 3 tight ends, just with Kraft coming off a major injury. And of course, Murray, Love, Geno all stacked up. And then Buddy Man, 3-6-8-1. So singular tight end. Let's see how this plane lands. He kind of did a similar thing, 3 early quarterbacks did even earlier than I did, Allen, Caleb, Bo Nix, but, potentially 3 of the top 10 quarterbacks. So dominating the position for the regular season, dominating your shots in the playoffs. If the rest of the plane is fine, then I think it can be a fun way to approach this. Double anchor here: Barkley, Henry, Monangai, Charbonnet, Pacheco, Sean Tucker. I guess I'd have a little bit of worry is early on you might only have 2 running backs. Tucker could be cut, Pacheco, Monangai dealing with injuries, Charbonnet definitely out early. So I'd be just kind of worried that early on, and yes, you're drafting Barkley with the expectation that they're in your lineup every time. That means they're not hitting this running back room is not hitting the flex early on. But the bigger concern is just, there are dud games every now and then for every back, every player, even JT and McCaffrey had 1 game under 10 points last year. I think it was the Houston game. JT, I think, had 2 games, early on. So it can happen. Does it kill you in a 4-12? Probably not. So hopefully it's just getting through there, and hopefully Monangai is not out too long. Mike Evans, Mekhi Lemon, Michael Wilson, Khalil Shakir, Jalen Coker, Pat Bryant, Jalen Knoll, and Caleb Douglas. So again, early season, some points might be tough to come by. I'm more bullish on Evans than most, but Lemon coming off an injury, Pat Bryant's number 3, Jalen Knowles coming off the injury, number 3, Caleb Douglas, 2 or 3. So early season, the only thing I worry about is early season points could be tough. It's a good thing that Loveland is a late buy, because I think you're going to need Loveland to help carry this team early on, and then you are taking a 0 there. So I'd say there's some concerns, like will there be enough points here to finish in the top 4? I think you're going to dominate the quarterback room. I think those top 2 running backs can be 2 of the top 10 running backs, but you're just not likely to get many flex points here. And then, to cover the few dud weeks. So really, I think it boils down to this receiver room. Like, what Evans got to stay healthy. Like, Lemon, what's your role? Michael Wilson, hopefully your role stays pretty strong. I like the Shakir Coker picks, but then these young receivers, like, somebody needs to step up, I feel, especially early on, when I just don't think you're going to be able to rely on Lemon for a good chunk of the year. But that's just me. All right, let me get into a puppy, and then I'll hit up chat. So I'm going to count it down, airing in 10 seconds, airing in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Tough got me again with Kincaid. He must have my ranks. Yeah, I didn't look at his team, but I did notice some pretty good picks there. Yeah, and honestly, and that's the other thing. It is it's only the team that we did for the Iron Throne. You do need to start a defense kicker, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you didn't have to take one. So I took a defense. I think the Vikings, if I remember right. I didn't take a kicker, so I'm going to have to drop somebody and throw that in there week 1. But I don't think I would be dropping Baker. I know he won't be playing, but I don't want to give other teams a chance to early get those Baker points, especially for some of those early buys. Aaron Rodgers has not gone up. Geno going ahead of him sometimes at like 200 is strange. Yeah, good to see you, Sweet Leaf. I agree. I don't know why Aaron Rodgers hasn't gone up, and I don't know why Geno goes ahead of him. Figured they should have at least one sharp share trying to recover from the Bo auto. I mean, I don't think that was terrible. I get why you didn't want that with your other investment, but I think Bo Nix is a great quarterback. And it's just, do you have enough to get to the playoffs? I think once you get to the playoffs, you're fine because guys like Lemon and maybe a few of those other younger receivers, especially some of the other ones coming off injuries, could be more established. For me, the big thing is, do you have enough to get to playoffs? Ravens working on the Redskins again. Might be a long season in Washington. Yeah, that is a concern. So this draft filled. I am in the 5th spot. Did anyone else get in here? Buddy Man did. Let me know if anyone else is in here. So 5th spot again. JT pulled up to 3. That is interesting. I mean, I like it. I have JT ranked 4, so I can't argue that. So McCaffrey 2, JT 3, Brian Robinson. Yeah, I'll take Jamar Chase at 5. Thank you. So I think I got the board for you. Let me know otherwise if you didn't get it. Baltimore backups look good. 24-0 first half. Oof. Really push the 4 advanced thing on this. Yeah, I mean, but that is the saving grace. And honestly, I don't mind that. I actually hope in future Underdog and other, DraftKings, whatever, do more like 3-12, 4-12, because just compared to managed, most managed are 50-50, right? 6-12 make the playoffs. Some are a little less, but a lot of managed are that like 6-12. So I don't mind that. And I think that is, having more like 4-12 make the playoffs. Now, this is interesting, like $0. I honestly like some of those where you got like half your money back for making the playoffs with a better advance rate, and then you got more money back semifinals and then finals, etc. There's draft 5, get 1 survival on draft. I just saw that before I went live, so I think I will be doing that. I have so much Rodgers. Pop Douglas is good. He's a good NFL receiver. I just don't know if he's a good fantasy receiver. And he has the promo. Tua looking better tonight. Well, he had to. Couldn't look much worse. So coming up here, see, it gets back to me at 20. Sad to see Tua fall. If he went to school right down the street, and I used to watch him, he was legit so good at one time. Yeah, he was. The college was a shoulder injury. I don't think he ever fully recovered from. He lost a little bit of his fastball there. And then the bigger thing is, of course, the concussions. I think he just plays scared now, and that's tough. That's a real tough look. I get it. I get the why, but it's hard to see sometimes. So I'll take another Bowers share. I'm right around the field with Bowers. That's where I want to be. And, Chase Bowers is a more unique combo for me. So that feels good. Let me check in, see if I can get a score update of this Washington game. And I know it's all backups, but they cannot run the ball. Neither Catron or Henry are running the ball well. Van Jefferson and Luke McCaffrey is the leading receivers with 1 catch for 17 yards apiece. Not great. All right, coming up here. Love sounds a little better. I haven't moved him back up too much, but I'd consider him. Chris Olave would be my pick. He goes, of course. I can't. can't justify taking Brees. You know what? For Mike, it's going to be one of my, final stream drafts of the basketball drafts of the year. So let's take Zay. This is for Mike. Nice. Yeah, I mean, Mariota was another one who was so good in college. And, at first you thought he was maybe going to make it with the Titans. He's, hung on in the NFL, and as Washington's backup, probably will be forced to play some games this year. But yeah, just never got to that second level. What I will say, and this is, if I was family, friends, agent, manager, whoever, for guys like Anthony Richardson and JJ McCarthy, I would point to Marcus Mariota and James Winston. I mean, these guys went 1-2 in the draft, and they are still around kicking, making good money as backup quarterbacks. Carson Wentz has also kind of gotten into this realm. I mean, Wentz, I think, is better than JJ McCarthy, but I think sometimes some of these quarterbacks, they just don't realize, like, they're so used to success, they're not used to changing and understanding, like, there's going to be some failure there. Not everyone comes into the league as a Peyton Manning. Even Patrick Mahomes sat a year, plenty of guys sat a year. But you can, the NFL, particularly quarterbacks, you can have a second act. You can have a third act sometimes, but a second act for sure. I mean, Geno Smith would be another one I'd just point to. Sam Darnold I'd point to. Baker Mayfield. These guys who at one time were given up by their first team, sometimes given up by their second team, like a Geno and Sam Darnold and Baker even. But they, eventually kept going and getting back and got big time starter money. Some of these guys, some serious playoff runs, and of course Sam Darnold winning the Super Bowl. So hopefully for some of these young quarterbacks who are failing and struggling, they have somebody close to them who says, hey, it ain't over yet. I mean, it's rough, and you should not be seen in the NFL field this year, but you need to work at it and learn. I think, and Sam Darnold, and I know Baker talks about it, like Baker has said, getting cut, it humbled him, but it also got him into the Sean McVay tree and seeing like a different side of things. So I think that can go a long, long way. I don't want to take Jacobs with him falling. Let me take Monty. Take so much Scatterboo, so let's mix it up. McMillan, I considered, but I already have two receivers. It's not an offense that wows me. Did feel like I kind of need a running back there. I probably should have pulled up Swift. I think he is moving up, and that would have been probably the good call. Best call for me. Yeah, Kirk has a great agent, but another guy who, Washington fan, like people thought it was over for Cousins because his first like extended look when the team was done with, RG3. Scatterboo coming back. I mean, I got to do it. I didn't want to. So I'll figure out the 2 week 8 buys. But people, Cousins was, kind of in spot duty for RG3 a couple times. He looked okay, and people thought, okay, when they were done with him with RG3, which was clearly the right call. Cousins is going to be the guy, and he kind of failed that audition. But then he gets that one last chance, and boy, did he take it and run with it. And went to Minnesota, was great there. Falcons, boy, I mean, him honestly, like if he didn't tear his Achilles, like I think these last couple of years would have been considerably different. Probably never would have left the Vikings, to be honest. But it's unfortunate for him because he started his career later and, kind of lost some years these last couple of years due to that injury. Wonder what happened to McCarthy. Did they just not have a pro style offense at Michigan? I mean, they had a lot of running. They actually had a pro style offense. That's one of the benefits of him is coming from the Harbaugh system. A lot of under center, a lot of like more pro style concepts and throws. The problem is he's a quarterback. He won a national championship, and he did have a good national championship game. I don't want to take that away from him, but they did win on the ground and on defense. They had a game late in the year against Penn State. In the second half, he either had 0 or 1 pass attempt. And, I think in his 2.5 years as a starting quarterback, I think he had 300-yard games in his career, something like that. It was very, very low. Most weeks, even some of his better weeks, it was, it's not just from a raw stat standpoint, but it would just be like, there's a lot of easy touchdowns. The offense was really good. 2 very good tight ends in AJ Barner and Colson Loveland, Roman Wilson. Some of the other receiver names are escaping me right now, but yeah, running backs were great. Blake Corum and David Edwards. But yeah, I don't think he could handle, and I still think he's got a lot of raw talent, and Anthony Richardson, similar thing, but you need to understand playing in the NFL is a different ball game. You need to learn to throw with anticipation. You need to throw with accuracy. You need to throw touch. These guys just rifle the ball as hard as they can every single time, and it doesn't work too well. We'll go Ramondre here. Third running back that we like with a different buy. Yeah, you can only enter from the phone, which is very annoying. That's one thing I hope UD fixes. Yeah, I mean, they definitely had a strong, and look, there's plenty of college quarterbacks who had a lot of strong NFL talent go to the NFL with them. Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase, literally, for my money, the number 1, number 2 receivers in the league. But he would still win games. Like, they would put it on his shoulders. Right. One pick away here. Go DK Metcalf if he's there. I think he will be. And there we go. So I'm sitting at 0-3-3-1. Running backs Monty, Scadaboo, Ramondre, Chase, Flowers, DK Metcalf, big AFC North receiver room. Just what everyone always thinks about. But actually, I think the Steelers passing game takes a big step up. I think Baltimore, Lamar stay healthy. Zay is okay. I just think he's a little overpriced. But, I don't want 0 of a guy, and fortunately I am low. So let's see what comes back to me. Do need to get a quarterback at some time. Not getting stacks with top 2 guys now because both those quarterbacks are off the board. I still think Stevenson was the better call than Burrow because running back does thin out. hoping Murray does good this year under KOC because I have a lot of Jefferson. I've been picking Jefferson from 5 all the way up to like 18. He slipped the other day in DK. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in that camp. I think people are just down on Murray, and I honestly don't think it's warranted. I've not heard good reasoning, to be quite honest. From Murray's fantasy outlook, and also from him getting a top tier receiver. Like DeAndre Hopkins had a couple of really good years with Kyler Murray. I don't understand why, that can't be the case here with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson. Great, coming up in a couple picks. A couple receivers I would have liked to go off the board here. Trevor Lawrence falling to 92. Might have to go that route. He goes. Addison is tempting. I think I'd go Mason. Let's get a strong fourth running back. Let's really hit the flex here with running back. This team, I think, will go 8 wide receivers with the Bowers pick and 4 running backs this early. So Nix goes off the board. That's always a quarterback I look towards. Mahomes falling. Don't really have stacks here. Can take Dart. Don't need to go running back. Wide receiver. Addison comes back to me. I think that becomes the easy pick. So Chase, Flowers, Metcalf, Addison. Pretty solid 4 wide receivers. 4 running backs I like, plus an elite tight end. We'll need to catch up at quarterback, but feeling okay about this team for sure. Eagles may score 70 in week 1 versus the Commanders. Yeah, I mean, if Sean Mannion's the real deal, I think the Commanders defense, I know it's the backups playing. And I do think, the Commanders defense should be better than a year ago. But I do have some real concerns. You're right on Jonathan Taylor last year. I was drafting him way before ADP, and he had a phenomenal year until Dan Jones went down. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, and even then, what I will point to, he was not the guy you need in the playoffs, but he actually still had usable weeks. So, not so much for some of the bigger tournaments and things like that, but you're still getting like 13 to 15 points from him every week. That's pretty solid, particularly when the offense was relying on Riley Leonard or Phillip Rivers. That's why I'm pretty bullish on him this year. I agree, Mike. I have Terry in home league. I may have to sit him versus the Eagles and start Parker. My stars are Puka and Nico. Yeah, so I guess it hasn't gotten any better as the second half started. All right, coming up in a couple picks here. Concepcion goes. I think I'll get my guy Kyler to go with my little Minnesota stack here. So we'll do that. Get Kyler there. About 1-4-4-1. This team won't get stacked up. Obviously, Rodgers can be a late stack. I don't like taking a Raiders because I do think it's a mixed quarterback room. I can do Stroud just from a team stack correlation, but don't have great options here. Let's see what gets to me at 125. lower on Jordan Love. I don't necessarily think that's right. So maybe I take him. That's unstacked. Devo, I think, is a good pick. Kelsey, if I want a pretty good tight end too, but I have plenty of him and don't need to go down that range. Baker's always an option. Tyler Shuck, I think, is an option. So Baker goes. Debo and Coker. I think I get a good good second quarterback. I'll take Jordan Love. I know he's not stacked, but I will take him here. Good to see you, GAB. The Commanders stink. Why did they think they could sit their starters tonight? They have been horrible in all facets. Eagles minus. Yeah, no, that Eagles bet's looking good. I mean, I get not wanting to risk injury. I do, the teams, look, the Rams don't play any starters. And so you got a long look at Ty Simpson. But they don't even play key backups. Like, they probably rest more people than anyone. I get it from an injury perspective. But the problem is, I think the more troubling thing is the reports on the scrimmage with the Ravens were brutal. And that they are trying, and that the starters are playing. So that's the thing that worries me the most. And the greater concern was the offense, which theoretically should be the good thing, the good part of this team. Yeah, not great. Just looking at stats, I see Jameis Winston threw an interception, so all was right with the world. Right, coming up here, 2441. Tua 3. Kyle Pitts catches. That's good to see. Jahan Dotson 3 catches. So I assume Drake London didn't play, but that is how I think it's going to go. Dolphins really playing their backups. Cam Miller. So it wasn't even Quinn Ewers. And Jalen Tolbert, Chris Bell. Debo going one pick there. That's tough. I will take Denzel Boston. I like McMillan, but give me some upside in Denzel Boston. Could open up the third quarterback. I think I'm targeting Rodgers as my third quarterback. I could take Stroud with Dave Montgomery and grab like Dalton Schultz or something. But I think Boston's a fine click there. So Millen, Naylor, I'm going to be bullish on. Keenan Allen goes. Is there any running back here? No. I'll take Bigsby. I don't have a lot of tank. I might just take tank here. Yeah, let me do that. Be done at running back. Commanders are good to see Bukowski. Commanders are just waiting to unleash their power in the regular season. Yeah, we'll see. I think Dan Quinn's a fine coach, and I think Cliff Kingsbury was fine. I think honestly, I do agree with Meg. Adam Peters has not built a good roster. Jane Daniels is a good quarterback, but You already had Terry McLaurin, and you just kind of gone cheap across the board. And year one, some of those cheap bets and veteran, and I understood what they were doing year one. Let's get some vets in here like Ertz, like Eckler. Let's help out our young quarterback. And I think they did a great job. But then year two, Eckler gets hurt, Ertz gets hurt late. Of course, Jane Daniels is hurt multiple times, and they tried to invest in the offensive line year two, but they didn't have a lot to invest with because they gave so many picks for like Marshawn Lattimore and a few other things. And year two, they made a big trade for Tunzel, and they used their first overall pick on Josh Connerly. That's great, but you invested everything now in the offensive line. Your defense is really taking a big hit. And you have no weapons behind Terry McLaurin. And, you had Debo for a year, but now he's gone. You did luckily pick up Diggs, but it's just very, very thin. You've taken these mid-round receivers for 3 straight years. Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, and Antonio Williams. I think McCaffrey's probably the lead of those 3, but none of those feel great. None of those might even be your number 3 in the team. That's not great. Chig, I think, is fine. Weapons-wise, they're okay, but they went cheap at running back. They went cheap on defense, and I do think it limits them. And then they also went cheap on the offensive line this season because they cut Tyler Biadasz, and he did end up getting injured, though. Who knows, if that would have occurred as well. Do I go Jalen? Oh, dude, on Tavian Wicks. A decent share of him. Did I get Cyrus Allen in time? I did. I don't love the Cyrus Allen click, but let's get a little bit of them. So Wicks goes right after. And also I was thinking this is going to be an 8 wide receiver build. So taking a guy like Cyrus Allen, that's a bit riskier. I'm okay taking a shot on this team. Yeah, no, definitely not at all. Like, it's been like year one, I understood the why he went with those vets. Then they tried to double down, bringing them all back, and Debo, which I don't mind, but then they should have invested in some more young pieces. And in part because they traded away so many picks, but you'd have, 4th round Jalen Lane and the 7th round JCM, and I just don't think that was enough. I do need a second tight end. I'm going to go Barner here. I think that's the right call. Because, I think Ertz and Eckler did more than enough to warrant running it back with them. And this is, again, the first year they traded up for Ben Sinnott. Like, that was just a terrible trade. He was not worthy of going there. It was just a bad move. It was like the weakest tight end class in years. And you trade up for a guy who's just very inconsistent, without upside, low undersized. And I think you're paying for the cost of that move years later. Like, that was your biggest drafted investment in a skill guy for Jane Daniels. And he's been an absolute bust. So done at tight end. Just looking at these 3 positions. I made the bet. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers gets back to me. A lot of these teams only have 2 quarterbacks, and maybe they pop Rodgers. We'll see. And there he goes. So that's not ideal. I'm going to take Jacoby Brissett. I don't love Jacoby Brissett or Geno. but I think they're fine in this range. I think Rodgers is the much preferred quarterback, and I originally considered Shador. He does have the same buy as Love, and there's a chance he's not starting early on, to help cover Kyler's buy. So I just think the upside case for him is weaker, and like I said, I don't like the Vegas bet right now. So let's go. We're going to go 2 more receivers. Do I do Ted Hurst, another rookie? I think I will take the Chris Bell bet, just similar to the Cyrus Allen. Like, upside case is enough, but I probably need a chaperone pick here at the end. Cooper Kupp will definitely be on my short list. Mooney, I think, is fine. This type of pick. I think Dotson is definitely in play again. So those are probably the 3 that I'm looking at. And, Tesla and Ridley also. Mikowski, this oddly feels like a prove-it year for Daniels. I mean, I think it's definitely a prove-it year for, the coaching staff, Dan Quinn and company. It should be for Adam Peters, because I think he's just really built a poor team around him. And of course, yes, you can't predict the Tunsil injury. I get that. But this is why you don't invest. This is why you don't waste picks and trades or bad players. And they really have. And they've just gotten cheap in some areas. And I just think it's costing them. Like, they were able to cobble together running back room year 1, year 2, took a big hit when Eckler went down. And then they kind of went even cheaper. They wouldn't pay the Chris Rodriguez price, took Rashard White, and structurally, I think he makes a little bit better sense. And Kaytron Allen, my hopes are on Kaytron Allen, just because I'm not sure Bill can handle the workload. Let me make this last pick, and then I'll finish up comments in chat and review these teams. So, Diggs was a nice pickup. I think Chig was a fine pickup. I do think Chig is a step back from Zach Ertz. I really do. Obviously Ertz coming off the injury, but what Ertz had provided for 12 games last year, or, whatever, until he got hurt. So I do think this is probably a Cooper Kupp team. Like, let's get the chaperone here. I took a lot of young receivers, late. So let's get a chaperone pick here. So I like Chig, but I don't think he can necessarily provide as much as Zach Ertz did, particularly 2 years ago. No, it definitely shouldn't be a prove it year, but it's going to be tough because if it's a down year, it's just, and it's just a tough look when May, especially, and Bo Nix are just more successful. I do think the tough call is, I think May always had the higher upside case than Jane Daniels, just because he's a more complete quarterback, bigger arm, more physically built, so he can endure more hits. And Daniels, I think, was always better than Bo Nix, but it is just like, you took this guy 2nd overall and Bo Nix at 12th or whatever it was, is looking pretty damn good. JJ Walsh, new subscriber here. Could you rate my 10-team league? It was $150 buy-in. Knicks, I just mentioned, so I feel pretty good about that. Kenneth Walker, Bucky, CD, JSN, Garrett Wilson, Loveland, Bench, Burden, Christian Watson, Monangai, Gainwell. So, I don't know if this is a PPR league, and not sure, 10-team, how many are playing the flex? Is this like a 2-man flex, 1-man? Like, how's that go? But seems like it. If that's your entire bench, on a 10 team. Like, it's going to be a very, very strong waiver wires. But I think it's pretty good. I mean, I would, I think Bucky and Gainwell is a good handcuff situation. I think, honestly, there's going to be plenty of weeks where you want to start Gainwell. Kenneth Walker, I think, is a good pick. Monangai, I maybe want another running back, particularly if this is not full point PPR, if it's half point. But Lamb, JSN, Garrett Wilson with Burden and Christian Watson behind that's pretty damn good. And Loveland, I think, is just a fantastic pick. So Loveland, I think, I think Bowers is most likely tight end 1, but I think Loveland is the next best chance, honestly, even more so than McBride. And I think Loveland has the best odds for tight end 2 in my book. So very good team. I mean, Lamb and JSN could be 2 of the top 5 receivers. Bo Nix has finished as 7th in fantasy scoring each of his first 2 years. Doesn't get drafted that way, so I think that's very, very good. A wide receiver will come out of nowhere. Nobody was drafting. I bet. Who is it? So I think this is a good question. This is a fun question. We'll get to that. Let me show the board and actually use the board to maybe highlight somebody. So I think the easy answer as a wide receiver who will come out of nowhere is, a young guy. A guy like Caleb Douglas, Malachi Fields, Ted Hurst, Chris Bell. Dolphins especially are ripe for somebody to emerge. Giants could have somebody emerge. Lane is somebody who's started to get drafted but wasn't drafted previously. So I think those are the interesting calls. I think if you look at it, Jaron Bernard, I actually think still could be in the mix because he only needs to overtake Roman Wilson on a team that should be in 11 personnel quite a bit. I think if you look at it from guys who haven't been drafted, Giants are another one here, Darnell Mooney, but I do think Jahan Dotson, this sounds crazy. I understand it sounds crazy, but somebody needs to catch the ball from the Falcons. And Jahan Dotson is going to be the clear-cut number 2 receiver on this team. Does every number 2 receiver have, high quality fantasy worth? No, of course not. And I know it's been years since Dotson has done anything. Honestly, truly his rookie year. Second year did a little bit, but it is truly his rookie year. The issue is the slot receiver is Zacchaeus, and their rookie Branch is pretty much a slot only guy. So yes, Drake London, yes, Kyle Pitts are there, but Jahan Dotson can find his way into 80 plus targets and nobody takes him. So particularly if we're talking from a best ball standpoint, do I think Jahan Dotson has a lot of 20-point games in his upside? No. But could he have 5, 10-point games, 10 to 15-point games? Yeah. And nobody takes him. And that can be enough. That can be enough to help advance you. And that can be enough to hit your flex. I think people forget the year Pat Kareem won. I'd have to look at the exact numbers, but I want to say, I know Tyquan Thornton hit his lineup. I think somebody else. And they both hit his lineup with 14, 12, or 13 and 15 points, something like that. So that won Pat Kareem $2 million. Obviously, there was a weird year with the Bills-Bengals game being canceled and all that. But, not everyone needs to be a 20-point banger. And Jahan Dotson, I think, is as alive as anyone to do that quite a few weeks this year. And also, you're talking about 2 guys, London and Pitts, who dealt with some injuries and missed some time. So I know I'm kind of more on an island there, but I think Dotson is an interesting guy in that regard. Some other ones that I don't even have in queue, Jack Besh is another one. Troy Franklin is another one. This is actually a good offense. Everyone's drafting it like it's Pat Bryant and probably starts the year Pat Bryant. But Franklin was number 2 receiver on this team. He has a connection with going back with Bo Nix. He's been in the system for 3 years now. If anything happens to any of the 3 guys, and we're talking Jalen Waddle, who's missed plenty of time in his career, Pat Bryant, who was dealing with injuries last year, Franklin could really emerge as somebody just not drafted who's actually producing pretty viable fantasy scores down the stretch. Keon Coleman, that'd be Meg's bet. I don't think it's a terrible bet. We're talking about the Bills here. could be the clear number 3 receiver. Young, give him one last ride, one last shot, see what you got there. The other is the Ravens. Jacoby Lane now gets drafted, but Bateman, Walker, Surratt, one of these 3 could emerge. Maybe not because of all 3 of them, but if one does, we're attacking. We're talking about one of the best quarterbacks in the league. When he's healthy, Lamar Jackson is an MVP. Can he bring one of these guys along? Sure. 2 years ago, he brought along Rashard Bateman. So those would just be a couple of the names that I mentioned. Nobody else is really jumping out to me right now, but it's a good point. Like, we always see a couple of these receivers emerge late. Also, show me the board because you're the man on his throne. I did show it, but just in case, I'll do it one more time, just because I appreciate all of Mike's hard work. We'll get through these teams and we'll get on out of here. Appreciate everyone for joining, but let me just finish up with chat real quick. That's one flex PPR. I don't know how I got JSN and CD. Yeah, for PPR, JSN and CD, I think is about as good as it gets. So I think that's good. So for Dynasty, Antonio Williams, I'm okay with. I think Caleb Douglas is the better sleeper receiver for Dynasty for sure. Just because there's just more clear opportunity this year and in the future. Thing with Antonio Williams is it could be new coaching staff next year. I think Dolphins are at least one more year. I don't think they're going to be one and done on this coaching staff. Even if the Dolphins go in and take a first round receiver next year, Caleb Douglas could still have a starting role. Auction draft 12 team: Lamar, Barkley, K9, Garrett Wilson, T-Mac, Juwan, Jacobs, Marvin, Tate, Mahomes, Cyrus Allen, Emma Johnson, Kalen Black, Kamara Sharps to IR spots. Any suggestions? I think smart use of your IR spots. I think that's good. I would like to maybe get another receiver, just because I don't know what Cyrus Allen is giving you early. I think he's a good best ball pick. I just don't know if you're counting on, like, what week are you going in there and being like, I want Cyrus Allen? So that would be maybe the one thing. I like both Emmett Johnson and Kalen Black, but especially having 2 running backs, eventually coming back, I'd maybe, grab another receiver, as we get into the start of the season. I appreciate that, JJ Walsh. And we'll be doing, like I said, we'll be doing more different content with the season, and then going forward, we will definitely be covering Dynasty and probably just some regular fantasy content as well. So I can go over my team too much. Different kind of build, stacked up Kyler, didn't really care about the rest. Strong running back room without crazy investment. 4 guys in the top 100, but none in the top couple rounds. Chase, Flowers, DK Metcalf, Jordan Addison. That's my top 4. Denzel Boston. Like I said, I like Cyrus Allen as a best ball click, but I never want to go into a week being like, I'm going to be playing Cyrus Allen, unless, of course, injuries materialize. Chris Bell, I think that's a later season click, but that's why I took Cooper Kupp. Give me a chaperone for that. And then Bowers, AJ Barner feels pretty good. Who was in here? Was it just Buddy Man, right? Yeah. So Buddy Man 2682, May, Purdy, Saquon, Kyron Williams, DeAndre Swift, very strong running back room. RJ Harvey, Woody Marks. I'm normally stopping at that. So tagging on Nicholas Singleton, which maybe you just felt was a solid value pick. And my guess is maybe with the 3-week 10s of your top 3 backs, so just adding a little extra depth there. But I think there's a very, very strong running back room. Hopefully the week 10 thing doesn't hurt you. AJ Brown, Roma Dunze, Stribling. I'm not a Stribling fan. Jacoby Myers, Pat Bryant, Malachi Fields, Juwan Jennings, Christian Kirk. I do like you adding Kirk because that gives insurance in case Stribling isn't the guy. And I think you have enough depth here to survive. And then Laporta, Ferguson, so that makes sense. Add, two quarterback, 2 tight end. Added the extra running back. Added because of the week 10s, I'm guessing. And then receiver wise, just adding some depth, because you're betting on some of these young guys, and sometimes they're going to hit, but there's other times where these guys, do fail. So my only concern would be, just the early nature of the Stribling pick. If Stribling was going with Pat Bryant, like if Pat Bryant fails, it doesn't kill your team. Stribling fails, it's a body blow to a team. So that's just my concern with it. But I do think you handled it as best possible with depth, and especially the Christian Kirk pick. I think that's a very smart pick to give some Stribling insurance. All right, we're going to get on out of here. Hope everyone has a great rest of the day. Good luck drafting. I will catch you next time. Peace.